The movie starts in a remote village in China, where the story begins with a father training his two daughters in martial arts. The older sister, Yun, looks completely unmotivated and can barely keep up, like she'd rather be doing literally anything else. Meanwhile, the younger one, Mei, is full of energy, copying every move with excitement like it's the best thing ever. But everything suddenly changes when someone unexpected shows up. The father reacts instantly and tells his wife to hide Mei. At that time, the country is going through a very difficult period, and strict rules only allow each family to have one child. That means Mei's very existence has to stay a secret. As her mother rushes to hide her, Mei still insists on continuing her training, whining, moving around, and refusing to stay quiet, basically making it 10 times harder than it should be. To calm her down, her mother gives her a small paper swan, a simple little toy that somehow becomes deeply meaningful. From that moment on, Mei becomes a child who must never be seen. This is the Forbidden City. Years later, Mei is all grown up. She is now part of a group of illegal immigrants, tightly packed inside a shipping container and being transported to an unknown destination. Not exactly a dream journey. When they finally arrive, Mei and the others are brought in front of a harsh woman who clearly plans to put them to work. The woman orders them to undress, but instead of following orders, Mei immediately asks about her sister. Wrong timing, wrong question. Annoyed, the woman tells the guards to throw her out. But the second they get close, Mei fights back. And not just a little, she takes them down effortlessly, like it's nothing. Every man who steps up gets overpowered in seconds. After dealing with the guards, she corners the woman and demands answers. When the woman refuses to talk, Mei turns to an old man and threatens him until he finally gives in and points her upstairs. As Mei moves forward, more guards start pouring in from above. Without even pausing, she snaps a CD into a sharp weapon. Yeah, CD and starts taking them down one by one. Anyone who gets in her way is quickly dealt with. Reaching the upper floor, she searches every room. When a guard grabs her, she easily takes him down using her incredible kung fu skills. Then an elderly woman calls out to her and reveals a name, Alfredo, the owner of an Italian restaurant. The moment Mei hears this, she runs with guards chasing right behind her. She ends up trapped in a kitchen, cornered again. But even then, she doesn't hesitate. She fights back with brutal precision, taking down everyone around her. Using spilled hot oil, she disables them painfully and finally manages to escape. As Mei moves through the Chinese restaurant, she briefly crosses paths with a man named Wang, the owner of the place. Once she steps outside, she realizes where she actually is, a Chinatown district in the city of Rome, quite a long way from home. Inside, Wang is left completely shocked after seeing his men badly beaten. Meanwhile, Mei walks through the streets, focused on finding Alfredo's Italian restaurant. After some searching, she finally finds it. An elderly waiter invites her to sit, but Mei notices several photos on the wall and immediately recognizes one of the men as Alfredo. In the kitchen, a chef named Morello is busy preparing orders while complaining about his father, Alfredo, who has disappeared and left him to deal with everything alone. You can tell he's not having a great day. When Mei approaches him, she uses a translation app to ask about Alfredo. Already frustrated, Morello reacts angrily, but Mei, who clearly has no patience left at this point, attacks him and forces him to talk. The moment she learns that Alfredo ran away with a Chinese woman, she lets him go. Just like that. Not long after, a gangster leader named Hannibal is introduced, going around collecting money with his two bodyguards like it's just another normal day. When he arrives at the restaurant, he is greeted by his nephew Morello, who tells him about the Chinese woman who attacked him while looking for Alfredo. Hearing this, Hannibal is furious. He refuses to let anyone disturb his territory, especially someone who dared to hurt his own family. Without wasting time, he heads straight to the Chinese restaurant to confront Wang, accusing him of being behind everything. Even though Wang insists he had nothing to do with it, Hannibal doesn't believe a word. He pressures Wang to find and capture the woman, making it very clear that failure is not an option. Elsewhere at home, Lena is completely heartbroken after finding out that Alfredo left her for a Chinese woman. In her anger and disappointment, she starts tearing apart his belongings. Honestly, understandable. Later that night, Hannibal returns to question Morello about the woman's appearance. But before Morello can even explain, Mei suddenly appears at the door. No warning, just shows up. Hannibal's men immediately chase after her. Realizing she's being followed, Mei cleverly leads them into a closed shopping center. As one of the guards steps inside, she strikes first, taking him down with brutal precision. When another guard notices his partner in pain, he starts searching for her, not realizing she's already right behind him. She attacks instantly. This time, though, the guard puts up more of a fight. She manages to overpower him and wins the fight. Not long after, Hannibal is shocked to find both of his bodyguards completely beaten. Meanwhile, back at the restaurant, Morello is about to eat when one of Wang's men suddenly shows up, badly injured. It turns out May forced him to reveal everything he knew about her sister and Alfredo. Without giving Morello any choice, she drags him along. They arrive at an open field and begin digging at the location pointed out by Wang's man. After digging deep enough, Morello uncovers something horrifying: the bodies of Yun and Alfredo. Seeing her sister like that completely breaks May. Overwhelmed with grief, she takes Yun's body and leaves using Morello's car. Morello, now realizing his father is also gone, is left standing there in shock and sadness. Soon after, Morello calls Hannibal and tells him about Alfredo's body. When Hannibal sees it, he calms Morello down. Meanwhile, by the seaside, May prepares to cremate her sister. Before doing so, she releases the origami their mother once gave her a final goodbye that hits hard. As morning approaches, Hannibal helps Morello bury Alfredo again, choosing to keep his death a secret to protect the family's reputation. He then takes Morello to an apartment that Alfredo had rented, a place where he once lived with Yun. Hannibal explains that he tried to convince Alfredo to leave Yun and return to his family, but love made him stay. Alfredo chose her no matter the cost. Hannibal kept all of this hidden to protect Morello and his mother from the truth. The next day, fueled by anger, Morello grabs a kitchen knife and heads to the Chinese restaurant for revenge. But things don't go as planned. He's quickly overpowered and thrown out into the street like it's nothing. At the same time, May secretly sneaks into Wang's headquarters. Inside, she prepares herself and blends in carefully, making sure no one recognizes her. Meanwhile, Wang announces to his guests that his son will soon hold a concert. When one of the guests mocks him, Wang reacts violently and attacks him on the spot. Clearly not the kind of guy you joke with. May, already inside, gets ready to strike, but her plan fails, and she is quickly surrounded by Wang's men. A brutal fight breaks out. As she tries to push her way toward him, unfortunately, she gets stabbed in the shoulder and hit multiple times. Eventually, she collapses and is beaten without mercy, not wanting the guests to witness the chaos. Wang orders his men to take her away and finish her somewhere else. But even then, May refuses to give up. As they try to move her, she fights back again. In a desperate move, she throws herself out of the restaurant and somehow escapes. When Wang's men lose track of her, they split up to search in different directions. Not long after, one of Morello's chef friends finds May lying unconscious outside the kitchen. Badly injured, Morello is immediately called to check on her as she receives treatment. With Wang's group now actively hunting her, the chef, worried about his own family, asks Morello to take her away. With no better option, Morello agrees. He takes her to his father's apartment and begins caring for her. While treating her wounds, he shows her an old photo of her and her sister from when they were children. Soon after, Morello gets a call from Hannibal asking him to come to a certain place. Hannibal has found Morello's car, the same one May used earlier since it's covered in Yun's blood. Hannibal decides to burn it to avoid attracting police attention. Then Hannibal says something unexpected. He admits that he has feelings for Morello's mother and even asks for permission to take her out on a date. Not exactly the moment Morello was expecting for that conversation, but here we are. The next morning, Morello gives May her medicine and properly introduces himself. By that night, May has recovered enough to move around, though her emotions are still intense and heavy. She then asks Morello to take her out to see the city. As they walk through Rome, May starts noticing wanted posters with her face all over the place, not exactly the kind of fame anyone wants. Then, when she spots a concert poster, she pauses, curious. Morello explains that it's for Maggio Wang's son, who will soon be performing. They continue walking through the city, and for a brief moment, things feel calm, surprisingly calm, like a small break from all the chaos chasing them. For a second, it almost feels normal after a while. May begins to open up about her past. For 20 years, she lived hidden inside her own home, completely cut off from the outside world, because of the government rule that didn't allow her family to have more than one child. Her family had no choice but to keep her existence a secret. Even so, every single night, her sister would come back and tell her stories about the outside world, everything she saw, everything she experienced. Because of that, May never truly felt alone. It was like she was living through her sister's eyes. As they grew older, her sister made a bold and risky decision. She chose to become an illegal immigrant and travel to Italy, hoping to one day give Mei a chance at freedom. But Mei couldn't handle being separated from her. So she followed, and when she finally found her sister again, it was too late. Realizing that Yun had been killed leaves Mei completely shattered. From that moment on, everything becomes simple, in the worst way possible. Her only goal is revenge. The following night, Wang arrives at his son's concert. At the same time, Morello goes to bring food for Mei, only to realize she's gone. No note, no goodbye, just gone. Mei is already on the move, quietly following Wang. When Wang notices her, he chooses to leave the venue, not wanting to cause a scene during his son's performance. Priorities, I guess. But Mei doesn't let him go and follows him immediately. They eventually end up at an abandoned factory, classic final showdown location. Using the thick smoke around them, Wang launches a surprise attack from behind, catching Mei off guard and making the fight much harder for her. Sensing she's a real challenge, Wang steps into a direct fight, and it quickly becomes clear he's highly skilled in martial arts. This is not just another random opponent. As the fight gets more intense, Wang pulls out a knife. Mei manages to knock it away, but he quickly grabs it again and moves in to strike. Thinking fast, Mei grabs a brick and smashes it into his head. No hesitation. Then she pulls a chain and attacks him with full force. Once Wang is finally down and can't fight back, Mei demands to know why he killed her sister. Wang reveals the truth. Alfredo truly loved Yun and was ready to give up his restaurant in exchange for her freedom. He was willing to lose everything for her. But just as the deal was about to happen, Hannibal showed up and shut it all down. He refused to let the family business be sacrificed for a Chinese woman. When Alfredo refused to back off, Hannibal made a cold and ruthless decision. He killed him. After that, Wang saw Yun as a problem, a loose end, and he eliminated her too. Hearing this completely breaks Mei. The grief hits all over again, even harder this time, and in that moment of pain, Wang tries to take advantage and attack her again. But this time is different. Mei's anger has reached its limit. She fights back with everything she has, holding nothing back, and kills Wang in the same brutal way he killed her sister. The next day, Mei goes to Morello and tells him the full truth, no holding back this time. When Morello learns that Hannibal is responsible for his father's death, he is consumed by rage. He locks Mei inside and leaves, determined to handle it himself. Not the best plan, but emotions are running the show now. Meanwhile, Hannibal prepares for a dinner date with Morello's mother at the restaurant. Yes, a date timing could not be worse. When Morello arrives and sees them together, he stays calm, too calm. He prepares a dish for Hannibal, then sits right between them, making things as uncomfortable as possible. You can almost feel the tension in the air. Sensing that something is off, Hannibal decides to leave. After reassuring his mother, Morello immediately goes after him. At the same time, Mei starts to worry about Morello. Deep down, she knows exactly where this is heading. Desperate to stop him, she escapes the apartment by climbing across the rooftops and sets out to find him, because apparently doors are optional now. When Mei reaches the restaurant, she only finds Morello's mother. Meanwhile, Morello has already caught up with Hannibal and confronts him directly, demanding to know how he could kill his own brother. Even after hearing the explanation, Morello can't accept it. He reminds Hannibal of everything their family has done for him, how they stood by him when everyone else rejected him because of his life as a gangster. Feeling trapped and overwhelmed, Hannibal pulls out a gun and points it at Morello. Just as everything is about to explode, Mei and Morello's mother arrive. And with nothing left to hold on to, Hannibal makes a final, irreversible choice. Time passes, and 10 years later, everything is different. Mei has returned to China and now continues her father's legacy by teaching kung fu to children in her village. Morello, now her husband, chooses to stay by her side. Together, they build a new life and are blessed with 2 children, something that once felt impossible under the old rules. In the end, after everything they've been through, they finally find peace and live a happy life. So yeah, moral of the story, if your family drama somehow includes kung fu, mafia problems, and illegal immigration, maybe try starting a group chat instead of fighting your way across Rome. It might save everyone a lot of trouble. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. See you in the next video.